Miami fans are exhausted by the question. Every season that starts hot, every national ranking that creeps into the top 5, the chorus begins again.
Is the U back?
It's a question that carries too much baggage, because the Miami that question refers to, the Miami of 2001, of 17 first-round NFL draft picks, of 38 NFL players, NFL touchdown every Sunday for nearly a decade, that Miami isn't coming back. It can't. The conditions that birthed that program, the interest from South Florida talent, recruiting restrictions loose, television dollars just starting to balloon. That was all unique. That dynasty was a perfect storm. And like any perfect storm, it left wreckage behind. You can still see it in the impossible standard it created. No roster today could assemble that much talent in one locker room without the NFL or NIL pulling it apart. So when a Miami fan hears, "Is the U back?" what they really hear is a trap. They hear the weight of expectation, the nostalgia theater that Mario Cristobal himself has dismissed. They hear a demand that no modern team can meet.
Always a team that nobody wants to play. And make that a reality. We got to speak it into existence. We got to work that into reality. It's toughness. It's physicality. Physicality has to be real. How do you get there? You practice it. You rep it. You do the things that people aren't willing to do again and again and again.
But if we're being real, Mario doesn't need to resurrect 2001. What he's trying to build is something that feels familiar in its dominance, but functions differently in the modern game. He stockpiles offensive tackles like currency and molds them into blunt instruments. And his recruiting has always matched his intensity. He doesn't charm his way into living rooms, he invades them. Every handshake has weight. He's not there to sell a dream. He's there to convince you it already exists. Long before NIL deals and bidding wars, Cristobal was winning the long game. Trust, persistence, obsession. You can't outbid that. That's why other coaches hate recruiting against him. It's why rivals cling to any headline or half-baked narrative they can find, anything to twist into ammo for negative recruiting against him. Because when Mario wants a kid, he doesn't stop. The text messages come from morning to midnight. The conversations stretch into hours. He doesn't promise playing time, he promises pressure, and the right ones crave it. The NIL era only amplified what he was already doing. It didn't create it. Cristobal was always a recruiting powerhouse long before NIL money entered the picture. If the whole system disappeared tomorrow, Mario would still be pulling top classes on pure effort, relationships, and evaluation alone. Now in year 4 at Miami, that blueprint has calcified. The roster is his, top to bottom. Portal transfers and high school recruits have been vetted for one thing above all else. Do they match the mindset? Do they buy into the non-negotiables? It doesn't matter if you're a blue chip wideout or a 3-star guard. You block, you run hard, you sell every play. The players who lingered from previous staffs have either adapted or been weeded out. The buy-in is total. The result is visible every Saturday. They're overwhelming at the line of scrimmage and still explosive on the edges. Wide receivers sprinting to seal blocks even when the ball isn't coming their way. Running backs punishing tacklers. Different players from different position rooms are emerging each game, making impact. It's Mario Cristobal football fully realized. Mario understands how fragile success is. He's watched teams implode under the weight of their own hype, which is why after the win over Florida, he praised his team for blocking out distractions, for doing their job. Don't inhale your own fumes. Don't believe the headlines. Against FSU, Malachi Toney ran onto the field with a message written beneath his eyes. Message to the Hurricanes themselves. The universe rewards effort. It rewards execution. And in Cristobal's Miami, mercy is a system error. The team isn't built on speeches or slogans. It's coded. Every rep is a line of language rewritten in effort. Discipline becomes the syntax. Violence becomes the grammar. Cristobal and the team have debugged fear. They've patched ego. Everything is rewired to one command: finish. Cristobal's Canes aim to play new school football with old school trenches. It executes purpose. No noise, no flash, just violence and order. They don't talk about belief because belief is already running in the background. Every unit and every coach is a part of one collective process. a hive mind built on grind. And when you code belief in that deep, it stops being emotion. It becomes instinct. It becomes inevitability. You don't talk about winning anymore. You just execute the truth you've built. There's chatter now. Fans and media worrying this team might get too big for its britches. That they'll start drinking the Kool-Aid, overselling themselves, smelling their own fumes. But here's the thing everyone is missing. When a team is dialed in on Cristobal's attitude, when his principles have been preached for 4 seasons and finally internalized, it doesn't matter when you've arrived. You inherit the operating system. A guy who landed via the portal 4 months ago isn't some spectator. On day 1, he's pitched the same creed. He's shown the same tape. He's asked to carry the same weight. And if he sticks, he's living the same framework as a 3-year upperclassman who already understands this deeply. The meetings, the work, the standards, the insatiability. When these different players and different backgrounds operate with the same spine, you get unity instead of ego. You get resonance instead of discord. You get a team that doesn't rise and fall with hype. It raises the bar with consistency. Yes, it could go sideways. Every team is vulnerable, but this one isn't fragile, because they've been programmed for the pressure. And when your internal signal is stronger than every external buzz, the big head talk becomes white noise. Here are the facts. Cristobal's Miami now carries Heisman buzz on both sides of the ball. Carson Beck's precision passing, minimized turnovers, and big game composure have brought him back into the national spotlight. Carson Beck has always been sharp, but now his receivers are actually catching the evidence. On defense, Rueben Bain's elite Pro Football Focus grades and pressure rate make him a legitimate edge defender candidate. 5 games into 2025, and players in the 2 deep from multiple position rooms are already leaving fingerprints on wins. The team doesn't lean on one strength. It radiates everywhere. And to do this amid coordinator changes, especially on defense with Corey Heatherman taking over, makes it even more impressive. The system is now showing it can absorb change without losing identity. If stability is the hardest test in major college football, 4 years in, Miami and Mario Cristobal are answering it. And yet the shadow lingers. The 2001 Hurricanes remain college football's final boss. It wasn't just that they won, it was how easy they made it look. They were inevitable, and inevitability is intoxicating, but it's also poisonous. It distorts what success looks like in 2025. Alabama never replicated it. Georgia hasn't, USC never will. Nobody can. That was Miami's once-in-a-history storm. Cristobal is smart enough to know that, which is why he doesn't reach backward. His teams don't need to be that Miami. They just need to be good enough to win championships now. So what does being back mean in 2025? It's not swagger. It's not draft picks. It's not even playoff appearances. It's championships. It's lining up against Georgia and Ohio State and refusing to blink. Miami is back when the identity is unshakable, when the dominance is a given, when opponents walk into Hard Rock Stadium knowing they're going to leave bruised and broken. And that's what Cristobal's Canes are becoming. It doesn't have to be 2001. That version is locked in amber. What comes next will be different. A program forged in Cristobal's image. It's hard not to be excited about this year's team, because this one feels different. Last year, I trusted Cam Ward to make something happen, to improvise when the structure cracked. This year, I trust the structure itself. The roster doesn't just look like a Mario Cristobal team, it thinks like one. The body types, the frames, the leverage, sure, that's obvious. You can see it when they walk off the bus. The real change is their wiring. They stay because they buy in. They don't flinch when they're challenged. They don't transfer when it gets hard. They believe in the work, recruits' mindsets. And when you watch the team now, the way Rueben Bain eats up pockets, the way the culture accepts guys that were rejected or misused elsewhere, the way older guys earn their spot through effort and not attrition, the way freshmen like Bryce Fitzgerald make veteran plays, you start to realize Miami is getting there. This Miami doesn't swagger, it grinds. So no, Miami will never be the NFL U of 2001 again. That standard is gone, and good riddance, because chasing ghosts is no way to build the future. 5 games into 2025, Mario Cristobal's Hurricanes are carving something new, something that looks less like nostalgia and more like inevitability. The U isn't back to 2001. The U isn't back to chasing ghosts. It's back to defining what everyone else in college football will try and imitate next.
Guys, we are Miami. We are the U. And every time you hear that, every time you see that on a shirt, on a commercial, at a game, That's gotta mean everything.